Hi guys, thanks for joining me again. I want to talk to you today about the law of the rubber band. You ever have one of those airplanes when you were a kid? It had the propeller that you wound up the rubber band and then you'd kind of give it a little toss and it would fly for a while until the rubber band unwound and then it would fall to the ground. That's kind of the essence of the law of the rubber band. See, there's a tension that exists between where you are and where you want to be. And that's where growth stops. If there's not that tension, then there is no growth. That tension is potential. It's unlocked, untapped potential. We all have places that we want to get to in our lives, goals that we want to achieve, and that causes this tension. And sometimes it can be very uncomfortable, but it's that tension, just like the rubber band winding it up, that makes us the most useful, because that's what is going to drive us to the next goal. They say, science says that we only use about 10% of the potential in our brain. How sad is that? How sad is that? But I think we fall into the trap of being comfortable, where we lose that tension between where we are and where we want to be. But I think if we're honest with ourselves, deep inside, even when we are comfortable, we still have that itch we can't scratch, as they say, right? That place that we want to go to. And sometimes we'll bury it because we're a little bit of afraid to really explore that, or we'll come up with some excuse why we can't do that, or we might not think we're capable or good enough to do that. And that's a shame, because that tension can really serve as the impetus to drive us to get to where we want to be that airplane that can fly. So don't avoid the tension, embrace the tension, because it's that tension that can really give us that potential energy. So if you think back to your grade school days, for me that's a long time ago, right? Potential energy is built up energy that hasn't been put to use yet. So that tension provides us that energy. So I think about this when I hear people, when I mention the fact that I went back in my 40s and I got my doctorate. And people are like, yeah, I'd like to go back to school one of these days. Well, why not? Why don't you? Now, sometimes there's very legitimate reasons, don't get me wrong. But oftentimes we fall into those excuses. So that tension, we avoid that tension by making those excuses. Reasons why we're not going to do something. So I'll leave you today with a quote from Lewis Stephenson, who said, "To be what we are and to become what we are capable of is the only end in life." So I've talked about purpose, I've talked about mindset. So this kind of is a way to maybe bring all those things together. Because according to Lewis Stephenson, becoming what we're capable of becoming is the only true end in life. It's not a competition with anybody else. Being the best you, that's what it's all about. So embrace that tension, use that tension as an impetus to kind of launch you into whatever it is that you want to go towards. So thanks for joining me on beautiful Keuka Lake this morning. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate it. Hi, Miriam. Appreciate you joining me. Take care, guys, and I hope to see you at some future Mindful Minutes with Dr. Richmart. Take care.